Hi, I'm Faggy Cobry from Creative Inking. Today's video, I am going to show you 5 different alcohol ink projects that you can do. I'm not going to show you exactly how I did it. I just want you to get the basic idea of the many things that you can do with alcohol inks. Enjoy! This project is a stained glass. It's a simulated stained glass. I use plexiglass pieces. Usually they come with some kind of piece of thin plastic on it. You have to peel it off, and this was something done really quickly, not necessarily with great thought. It was just for a demonstration. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to add a couple of pictures that students of mine have done using this technique. But when I first saw it, I was told to use the simulated liquid lead, and you put this on first and then you let it dry, and then you just take the inks and you either drop them on and use a brush, or just put a brush into it and dab them like this. But at one point I was doing a whole bunch of women at one time, and this was much more expensive, so I picked up in Walmart. I decided to use this as fabric paint, dimensional paint, and you can do this and you get the same basic technique. Another thing to note with this is that if you want to do it in a one-time project, I used to only do it in a 2-time project because this has to dry for a number of hours. But what you can do is you can take a Sharpie, and if you want to put a picture behind it to trace, you can do that. And then you make the picture or the lines that you want on top of this piece of plexiglass. And then you can add the fabric paint on top of it, and then it's just ready to go, and you don't have to wait. Of course, you have to wait till that dries, but if you wanted to just do the whole project in one time, that's the way that you do that. Let me just show you a couple of other pictures that people have done using this. The ones that I'm going to show you are ones that they traced behind because they weren't really very comfortable with their drawing skills, but you can do it either way. This project is using aluminum foil. I actually like to use the heavy duty aluminum foil. I just think it works better. And it doesn't have to be watercolor paper, it just needs to be some kind of thicker cardstock. This just happens to have a thick paper that works. What I did with this was I cut out from this paper petals and a stem, and then I put it on top of a piece of cardstock. You can do it on top of a canvas also. Then I rubbed it down so this would look like it was embossed, and the shape of what I had put down came through. And then I just used the inks to put it all around, and the silver is what came through. This one I started outlining it with a black Sharpie, which gives it more definition. This one is without the black Sharpie. This one is with the black Sharpie. There's so many ways you can do this, and it's fun and it's very pretty. Tiles are a separate thing altogether. There's so many different ways that you can use tiles. I have another video here on a bunch of different projects how I use tiles, but this is just to show you. You could make coasters. This is 2 types. This is a small one. This is a large one. You can do abstracts. You can do scenes on them. But you can also use tiles. These are things you can use as a decoration in your kitchen. If you're going to use a longer tile, I happen to have a couple of different ones. You just go into your local Lowe's or Home Depot and see what they have, and then you could make like a pretty abstract on here, and then you can wipe away your name for a door plate or an address, and I don't have them right here with me, but I'm going to show you some where we did using that, and I had a friend that was actually making these and giving them to gifts using people's addresses and names. So that's another project to do. For this type of project, you take papers that you don't like, you're not going to do anything with it. I was actually trying to make infinity circles with these, and I really wasn't happy with them. So I cut them out, and then I just started playing around with it, and I said, oh, this can make a flower vase. And I painted the background, and then I just painted this, and I did it that way. This is another way of making a flower vase. I actually used these craft punchers. You can take, again, you can either ink up special pieces that you want in different colors and then punch them out. And you can also use something and create a vase. I just painted it in, but making vases and using different ways to make the vase, like either painting it or just pasting it. This was just, I don't even remember if I used, I think this was silver alcohol ink. And these were also this was a different type of puncher, little leaves. And that is, using collage with your leftover alcohol inks it's a great way to have fun with your leftover pieces. This project is really just doodling on top of Yupo paper. So you just make a really pretty background and then you doodle on top of it. One of the things I see from doodling on top of it is that it's good to have contrast between some dark and some light. I'll show you a couple more. This one and this one. Really, I'm not so crazy about this one. I like when they touch more. They kind of go into each other. And then a different color scheme, I had this one. This one I kind of did more on the bottom. If you see, I have some dark and some light. It's also important not to do colors that are too dark, because then the black won't show on top of it. Now, what if you say, well, I don't know how to doodle, I don't know how to make flowers like that. Neither do I on my own. This is Lisa Congdon. She has a couple of different books like that has very easy flowers that you can choose, and I don't do this out of my own head. If you don't have to do necessarily just flowers. You can do, if you want to do just different kind of doodles, you can also use something like this, and you can find the different types of doodles that she uses for her lettering. Okay, now, so what pens do you use for these? Mostly black, and when you use black, you could use the Faber-Castell in different widths, in different thicknesses. There's thicker ones, there's thinner ones, and I happen to love this. This is the Signo Uniball pen. I love this in white. They are very popular in black. They're very popular in white, and these three are my absolute favorite go-to pens. So you can use an assortment of black ones. There's thin and thick, and you just can have such a good time on that, because you're not worrying about making something realistic.
So if you like this video, please let me know below. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet.